All right, there we go. Let's get our Facebook friends up in here before it's officially time to go. There we go. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Happy last day of May, May 31st, and happy Tuesday to you all. Hope you all had a enjoyable and relaxing Memorial Day weekend. Scott, good morning to you. How are you?
Good. It didn't feel like we skipped a show yesterday so much as it was just kind of an extended weekend.
Yeah,
So I didn't feel weird yet. It might feel weird next Monday.
yeah.
Might have to figure out something to do with myself of Monday morning.
I'm gonna
But
say,
yeah, good weekend. Hope you enjoyed Memorial Day weekend and some time away from the office.
yeah, we didn't end up going on that backpacking trip that we kept asking you guys for the good vibes because it was projected snow in the valley, and
It didn't rain.
yeah, it did rain. We we did some hikes, but we got some Airbnbs instead and did some like day hikes from there in the Olympic Peninsula, which was still fun. But man, this La Nina is kicking my butt. It was like one of the coldest Mays in 80 years, one of the wettest Mays in 80 years. I'm ready for it to be nice, but we got, speaking of nice, Ethan coming in. Good afternoon, gents, Broncos country, and being extra nice, saying need Facebook stars today, Broncos country, with the 50 pounds over on YouTube. He's calling you guys to action. Let's see who can match Ethan or help him out with the cause there, help us out. Jeremy's in the house too. Good Tuesday morning, Broncos country. Have jury duty this morning, so you're helping me through it. Man, have you been called to jury duty many times, Scott?
I have. I've gotten called 3 times. I always wear my shirt that says I'd agree with you, but we'd both be wrong.
Hmm.
And I haven't gotten called, but the last time I was called to jury duty, I actually was on a murder trial, and I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
oh man. And the big worry with a trial like that is the time. It's a
Hmm.
time commitment.
Yeah.
But they said should be concluded within a week, and I'm like, all right. So it was. They did the whole thing. Between selection and all that stuff, they were done on Friday. Started on Monday, done on Friday. I was like, wow, okay, there we
Yeah.
go. Wasn't too bad. It was a good experience. I was dreading it, and I felt like I was getting a 7-day prison sentence, but I enjoyed the experience, and I was very, very glad I did it.
I have been wasn't selected, but called for jury duty once in back in Iowa, and it was the middle of August. The air conditioning was out in the building, and I sat in a wooden pew, most uncomfortable wooden pew ever, for 8 hours that day while they interviewed people. I never got called up, and I just remember sticking to the chairs because it was so unbelievably hot in there. So it was miserable. I did not enjoy it one bit, but civic duty, I get it. Falling Sloth coming in saying good morning, Broncos country. Hope y'all are having a good morning as I am. I am exhausted. I just got back from the airport dropping off Natalie's friend. We drove her down and back up today, so I've been up for a bit, but coffee's already kicking in. I'm just kind of a corpse right now, but we're doing it. Luke Wright coming in saying, good morning, Nick and Scott and Broncos country. Good to see you, Luke. EJ's also in the house. Good morning, Nick and Scott and Broncos country. US Dave's in here. Good to see you. And Jeremy saying the new Top Gun was awesome. And Scott, you went and saw it yesterday. What's
I
the
did. I did go to see it yesterday, so it was really good. And Jeremy also says the theater experience is worth it. I was sitting there watching, going, I needed to see this in IMAX. It
Yeah.
was good, but I was like, I want to see this just for this. What I like about the Tom Cruise movies from Mission Impossible and Top Gun is the lack of CGI. It's old school
Mhm.
1980s stunts and camera
Yeah.
work, and then that they've been able to improve on those things through the years was fantastic. I think I put in the comments here that Jennifer Connelly was worth the price of admission. Goodness gracious, that's an attractive person.
Well, hopefully hopefully some people are saying it about this show. Who knows? Hey guys, no, I'm just kidding. Listening to you in the shower this morning, right? That's the thing. Dale in the house here. Good morning, Scott and Nick. We also got Jacob Foster, the silent one, coming in, supporting us with the big stars here. Thank you so much, Jacob. Happy Tuesday to you. Hope you had a good Memorial Day weekend. Sunny Days also in the house, saying good morning, Broncos country. Good to see you, Sunny Days. Clee coming in saying, imagine how smart we'd be if we paid half as much for education as we did the defense budget. Oh man, that's we could go down a wormhole on that one, but I don't think we will today. Coming in, Clayton also, morning guys, smash that like button on the way in. What did you guys do over the weekend? Natalie and I did. Her friend was in town, and we booked an Airbnb in Port Angeles and Forks area in the peninsula out there in. And if you guys know Forks, that's where like Twilight was based. So there's a lot of vampire propaganda, regalia, whatever you want to call it. But did the whole rainforest there. Went out to the beach yesterday and did some beach combing at low tide, which was incredible. We came up to a giant sea stack that had about 100 starfish on it, and I didn't see any octopi. That's what I was hoping for, but it
Those are
was
my
really
favorites.
octopi. Yeah, they
Yeah.
some of my favorites. Cuttlefish is my favorite, to be really specific, but love the octopi. Hoping to see one at some point. Not yesterday, but it was a good weekend overall. We made the most of it. James Hyatt also saying good morning, Nick and Scott and Broncos for breakfast. Dave with the stars. Thank you so much, Dave. Albert Knoppers is in the house. Dom Harmillo. Good morning, Nick and Scott and Broncos country. I missed you guys yesterday morning. Wasn't the same Monday morning without you guys. Well, we'll be back at some point, but
We're
we
not
need to.
gone. We're
We're
not
not gone.
gone for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here. If you need us, shoot us a DM or something. Sabrice coming in saying, spent all weekend taking my daughter to a soccer tourney in Virginia. 5 games. That sounds like your kind of life, Scott. Was that your weekend?
Baseball tournament Saturday and Sunday, and then I took my daughter to what was supposed to be a pickup softball game and turned into a 2.5-hour practice on Monday, and then went to see Top Gun Monday afternoon. So, and then I was with y'all at Huddle Up last night at 8. So
Nice.
But yeah, I had a snapping turtle renaissance here recently. I escorted one across the 5-lane, not a highway, but one of those big, access roads. He was starting to go across, and they're hard to pick up. Obviously, they're snapping turtles, and they've got those sharp back claws too, so it's hard to get them from behind the shell.
Yep.
This one still had plenty of juice in him, so I just got behind him and just stopped traffic. Hold on, and he went all the way across and down the slope. Then it rained a little bit, so I'm hoping he or she was good and safe. So that was the original. There's my doorbell, because we were talking about air conditioning. That's my new air conditioner is going to be installed while we're doing this show. So
nice, right behind you, right? Mark Schrader coming in. Good morning, all. Good to see you. Saul coming in here saying Buenos dias, Nick and Scott. Let's ride Broncos country. Good to see you. We also say Dom in the house, Michael in the house. Gosh. Saying good morning, Broncos country. Joe Webster's in the house too, and Michael also saying good morning, Nick and Scott and Broncos for breakfast. Let's ride. And GLP, the notorious GLP. Good morning, Nick and Scott. Let's do it. So let's get in here. Hopefully we're doing well.
Thanks
Also,
for the stars, Gary, and Jacob coming in with big stars already this morning.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Obviously, this show is fan funded, I guess you'll say it. So we appreciate you. But if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe and like and share over on YouTube. So let's get into it here. We got the PFF power rankings coming in here, and this is the offseason. We have a lot of different takes and whatnot, and might as well put a name on it. This is Sam Monson over at Pro Football Focus, who is one of the main writers and contributors there. And Sam has the Denver Broncos coming in at 7 overall in a category known as could be their year. Number 1 category is true contenders. Broncos do not make it there, but they make it in 7 overall in the tier called could be their year. And he writes, Denver catapulted itself into the contenders by trading for Russell Wilson, giving them their first legitimate championship caliber passer since Peyton Manning. Denver now has to craft an offense that gets the most out of Wilson while doing so without running into the same issues that the Seattle Seahawks had. Can Wilson be unleashed to be the best version of himself without eschewing too much of the quick routine passes to make the offenses among the league's best? So this is kind of some of the stuff we've talked about here. They're hinting at it. And Pro Football Focus seems to be somewhat skeptical about Russell Wilson being a top 5, top 8 quarterback, given his recent trends. And this kind of hints at it as well, saying, can they work in the quick routine, layup type of pass game rather than being super boomer bust, which Russell Wilson has been recently in his career?
Yeah, but that said, number 7 is as high as I think we've seen the Broncos. So they're supposed to put in there, these are the contenders. Here's why not. I mean, that's part of the writing that they're doing. So having them come in and say 7, that's high. I think that's it is. They're still in a prove it. So you look at the 5 that says the true contenders.
Yep.
There's 4 that have proven it, and there's 1 that hasn't, which is the Chargers.
Yep.
So you understand the 4, and that's where the Broncos are. They're in the, okay, we really like what we see, but they haven't proven anything yet.
Yep.
So I'm fine with that. I think that's just fine. But isn't that where the Chargers are, honestly? Isn't that where the Chargers should be? If we're putting them in tiers like that, shouldn't the Chargers be in a similar tier instead of, I mean, you can pick the 4, the contenders. It's the guys that have done it here recently. And then you've got the others that could be their year. So I would have the Chargers in that second tier of, and they're 5. That's fine. I got no problem with that. But if you're going to tier them, put them in that same they haven't done anything yet tier.
Yeah, could be their year. I agree with you on that one. I thought I was high on the Chargers. I've been kind of banging that drum since the offseason started. Justin Herbert's incredible. I don't give a flying you-know-what that he hasn't made the playoffs. It's a 2-year sample size, and watch the tape. I mean, he's doing stuff that only, 4 quarterbacks in the league can do, and it's unfortunate because he's going to be in the division for a long time. But I agree with you. I think I'd probably knock the Chargers down 1 just because you do want to see it. I'd flip the Packers, and then the Packers come in as the first team on could be their year at 6. I know the Packers lost Devontae Adams. They have question marks at the wide receiver. I think we're really sleeping on that Packers defense. That Packers defense has a chance to be the best in the league this year, and they still have Aaron Rodgers and a very, very bad NFC North. So I'd probably flip the Chargers and the Packers, but I
was thinking the Bengals.
The Bengals too?
I was thinking maybe the Bengals. If I was going to put anybody else in there as far as the true contenders, I feel like the Packers have taken a step backwards from a personnel standpoint. Aaron Rodgers is a year older. They've lost one of their top weapons. I just don't feel like they've improved from a team that I don't think they won a playoff game. Didn't they get eliminated in their first game?
They lost to the 49ers at home.
In their first game. So they didn't do it either. So if I was going to pick anybody in the contenders of that bunch, I'd probably throw the Bengals in there. Young, up and coming, made a nice run and got hot. Can they prove it over the course of a 17-game season? Because remember, you talk about this Bengals team, but shoot, they didn't exactly fly into the playoffs. They got in, and then they got good. Then they played well. Can they take that step to be a more consistent team week in and week out this year? I think they can. I think they will have gotten better. I think there will be some belief in Cincinnati that maybe they haven't had recently.
Yeah, and I cannot wait for the Cincinnati versus Ravens games this year. I think that's going to be must-watch TV. So that'll be a lot of fun. We got James Hyatt coming in here saying, as for the Pro Football Focus ranking, we got 7 years of mediocrity to overcome. Winning will change that. Yes, I have no problem with actually the 7 overall. And again, the Broncos being ranked 3rd in the division, you're talking about 3/4 the division taking up the first, 3 of the first 7 slots, which is insane, but it's the state of the AFC West right now. One thing I will give them credit to is this is a team that finally has the Raiders ranked probably where they should be, middle of the pack. The Raiders coming in at almost exactly middle of the pack, 16 overall. Mm-hmm. So finally, I don't get the Raiders hype, Scott. I know I've said it on here many times, and I said that last year before they beat the absolute brakes off the Broncos that week 5 or 6 game. But still, like personnel wise, I don't get it. And I think the Pro Football Focus at least gets that one right.
Yeah. I mean, you start thinking, okay, there was a fancy, shiny new toy in Devontae Adams, but okay, well, what about the Dolphins then? How far off were they? Obviously you like the quarterback situation a little bit better, but we'll see. We will see. There's a lot of unknowns with the Raiders. That gets a little scary for trying to pick them too high. Yeah,
absolutely. And Fallen Sloth, who I know is a big animal lover and a zoo goer, maybe works at a zoo, based on what you've said in the past. But cuttlefish are my absolute favorite animals. Me too, Fallen Sloth, right behind my dog and cat. But I absolutely love cuttlefish. They are incredible. It freaks me out how they're so intelligent, like totally different evolutionary paths, and like one of the most intelligent creatures on this planet. Wow.
That's why I think the octopus are from outer space.
Yeah.
Because they're incredibly smart, and they've got natural defenses and stuff that I think the Army and military would just kill for. I mean, their ability to mimic is unbelievable. It is so cool. And they're so smart. I once read when I was a kid, someone had one as a pet, just talking about all the different personalities and stuff. And then I'm a scuba diver, so they're my favorite to go and try and find because they're hard to find.
Yeah.
When they don't want to be found, they're really hard to find.
Yep. I was hoping to see one in the tide pools yesterday, but alas, one day I will. Benjamin Flores coming in and saying, good morning, fellas. Go Broncos. Good morning to you, Benjamin. Hope you're doing well. Happy Tuesday. Clayton's coming in also saying, still very early thoughts on a record this year, 13-4. Clayton, I hope you're right. But that seems a pretty high ranking given how many unknowns the Broncos have and how tough the division is going to be. I mean, you could have 4 losses, hopefully not, but you could have 4 losses against your division before you even get to outside. So we'll see.
This is a good question. And Reese comes in and he's forgetting who I would consider maybe the best of them all. Has any franchise done with good quarterbacks than the Chargers? Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, 0 titles. How about Dan Fouts? Dan Fouts is very, very similar to a Dan Marino. type as far as I love. It's one of the reasons I like the Chargers when I was growing up. One, you always have to have a second team when you're an Atlanta fan because your team's out of it so early that you want to root for somebody. And I rooted for the Chargers because they actually beat the brakes off the Steelers one year, and I didn't like the Steelers. I was a Cowboys fan, and I was born in Cleveland. I didn't like the Steelers, and Dan Fouts and Eric Coryell, they just crushed the Steelers, and then didn't get a chance to play them because they choked against the Oilers in the playoffs. This was a long time ago, but that's a good question, Clee, because it'd be hard. I think you'd be hard pressed to come up with three who were better than Fouts, Rivers.
Breeze
was there for a little bit, not as long, but that came up with goose eggs. That'd be really tough. I mean, I've said the Atlanta Falcons, for all their warts, have had pretty good quarterback play, from Michael Vick to Matt Ryan. Chris Chandler was a good quarterback there. They've had pretty good quarterback play, but not of the level of Dan Fouts and Phillip Rivers to have multiples like that. And so that's a good one. That's tough.
Yeah, I kind of miss Phillip Rivers. He was one I loved to hate just because of his personality, out there doing the big old corny smile. But it's is what it is. We also have Clayton coming in here. This is an interesting question. Where would you guys rank our offense and defense this year? Scott, let's just, obviously we're not going to go through every single team and slot them, but just general kind of area. You can, let's say there's an air bar of like +or-3 when you throw out a number.
Well, you start looking at it and you start wondering, okay, who's got better weapons? The big question is on the offensive line. If your offensive line doesn't step up and play well, the skill guys don't matter as much. Now, this isn't a bad offensive line. The floor of it shouldn't be, okay, this is a humongous liability. And with the quarterback and the different options that you should have with the running game, the offensive line should play better this year than it did last year. It should just be a better offense, period. I think if you're knocking on the door, if you're in the top 10 range, if you're around 10, that means you moved up from 25. You moved up a lot. And as far as a scoring defense, I want to know, Nick, I want you to start riffing on the not expectancy. What's the word that I'm looking for here? The efficiency metrics, because you could finish worse than top 5 in scoring where you were last year, but be a better defense by limiting getting the ball back more, limiting the long drives, that type of stuff. Your scoring for me was more based on a game plan than it was on actually being a good defense. It's like, it seemed like there were long 12-play scoring drives every time. The teams only just had 6 possessions. Well, that didn't make you necessarily a good defense. It made you a really boring team to watch and a frustrating team to watch, knowing you couldn't get that other team off the field.
Yeah, the Broncos last year were, in terms of points per drive, they're 4th overall in the league behind New Orleans, New England, and Buffalo at 1.78 points per drive. But the yards per drive, you hit on it. It was the bend, don't break. 20th in the league at 33.64 yards surrendered per drive. The big one that Broncos need to improve on this year, though, is taking the ball away. They can give away less points, but they need to be able to create more turnovers. Probably besides points surrendered, the second most important thing a defense can do. And they were 20th in the league last year at turnovers per possession. So that definitely needs to improve. I think they'll be better this year in that mark, but with how good defensive coordinators typically are, it's not typically the young guys that come in and dominate right away. It's kind of the guys who have been around a few times. They've seen everything. They have different answers for what offenses do because they just have so much experience. So I'm probably pumping the brakes on Evero more than most are right now. I think he's an intelligent guy, but just the experience factor concerns me some. So I think the Broncos defense is going to be probably closer to 15th overall in the league this year, middle of the pack. But you need your offense to finish probably top 8. So I'd put 8 for the offense and 15 for the defense. And you hit the nail on the head. Biggest difference for the offense, obviously coaching and how quickly the scheme and everything fits together is going to matter. But difference maker is going to be the offensive line. Just how good that offensive line is. Is it going to be top 20 offensive line? Going to be a top 10 offensive line. That could change you from, being the 12th rated offense to a top 5 offense this season.
And what I'll be interested to see, and we'll have to look it up, because my gut feeling, I call it seat of the pants analytics, is there should be about 15% more plays.
Yep.
Based on moving the ball faster and like I said, you're just trying to grind things out last year that you could. The efficiency metrics are what I want to see. I expect the efficiency to get better. I expect it to get. You expect to have more big plays on offense and defense than what we had to watch last year. Peter coming in with some stars and saying, could all 4 teams in the AFC West have 9+ wins? Yeah, I think 9 and 8 could be the floor of this division. We've talked about it before. Oh, the AFC West is going to beat themselves up. It's only 6 games. You go 3-3 in division. Okay, well, there's still 11 more games. That means you only need to go 6-5 the rest of the way. So yeah, absolutely. I think all 4 teams could have winning records. Nick?
Yeah, definitely possible. You just have to think somebody's going to have the bottom fall out this season, though, in this division. Things kind of get off the rails, and then you're looking up at all these other teams, and things fall apart. So hopefully it's not the Broncos, but we'll see. I mean, God, it'd be nice if the Chiefs had a real bounce or down or regression season this year, but we'll see. Could all 4 teams win 9+? It's definitely possible. Also, Peter making me hungry.
Thanks for the stars, Peter.
Thank you so much, Peter. Also, Peter says, I just had Wagyu beef and wine for dinner. Got to celebrate the good days. Well, send some my way because that sounds damn good. Chris Jenkins coming in saying, morning, fellas. Glad to see everyone. Denver Broncos for life. Joe Webster saying, Russell Wilson is our octopus
or cuttlefish. I can't tell. They look a lot alike to me, especially at that size.
Isn't there one like the Dumbo elephant or the Dumbo squid or octopus? I don't know. That's what it looks like to me. We also have
and Dom asks, have I ever been in a shark cage? No, I've been in the water with sharks, but I don't want to be in the water with aggressive sharks. So I was in the water once with a bull shark way off in the distance. I've been in there with reef sharks, lemon sharks, nurse sharks, that type of stuff. But I've never been in a cold water dive where where great whites be. I don't even want to be on a boat near a great white. So as someone born in the 70s, I think Jaws was about 75. No interest at all of being anywhere near a great white shark. They're magnificent. I'll respect them. I will stay away from them and do your jobs in the ocean. They're there for a reason, but I don't have any interest whatsoever of being in the water with a tiger or a great white shark.
Me neither, but I'm also not really concerned about them. I'm not going to put myself in that situation. If we had a cage, I'd do it. But honestly, living out here in Washington and doing the whale watching stuff, orcas make sharks their B word.
But there's also never been in the wild, there's been an attack in captivity, but there's never been a recorded attack on a human being from an orca, which is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. I think orcas here, we're off the whale. We're off the charts.
It's off season. We can have fun.
Yeah, I think orcas are the most badass animals on the entire planet. Period. I mean, they hunt. Not only are they, just perfectly designed for what they do, they also hunt in packs, and they're incredibly smart. But they one hit a great white, and then all the great whites left. They're like, the hell with this, we're out of here.
Yeah.
They were tracking them, and it followed right after an orca had just wiped out a great white. But there's never been I'd love to see orcas. I think they're absolutely amazing. But there's never been an attack of an orca on a human being in the wild, which is crazy.
Well, if you ever get a chance, this is for all the listeners too. There's islands off in the sound here called the San Juan Islands. Got to take a ferry from Anacortes, Washington to do it, but they have a whole bunch of orcas out here, and we saw the orcas make a couple kills on seals, and orcas will flip sharks upside down because it paralyzes them, and then only eat their livers. So they're smart enough to be
they're cruel.
Wasteful.
They're not called nice whales.
No,
they'll play. They'll play catch with seal pups.
Yep, we saw that. They're training them.
They're cruel for sure.
Pretty wild.
They're not called the friendly whales. They're called killer whales. But they, for being the alpha predator, they have never attacked a human. I mean, there's not a ton of crossover there, but ever. I think that's absolutely amazing.
It is amazing. Definitely worth seeing if you guys get a chance. Coming this summer, though. Reese Scott, top 5 defenses here and top 8 offense. Hopefully the special teams is better. Yeah, that's not a terrible call. The defense, I have enough questions about the defensive line, specifically having enough dominance up front there to be a team that's worthy of that. And a lot of that comes back to the edge rushers, also who's helping Draymond Jones. But last year, the Broncos, just kind of looking at the defense, you think top 5 last year, according to EPA per play. When I took out garbage time with win probability of 10%, less than 10%, or over 90%. And the Broncos finished 21st in the league last year in defensive EPA per play, which is not good. Also, their Football Outsiders DVOA was not very good. Also on defense, they ranked 20th in the league defensively last year. So,
and Nick, you could see it.
Yeah.
Like I said, forget the standard yards and points against. You could see it.
Yep.
You couldn't stop a team when you needed to. If it was 3rd and 3, it was a first down.
Yep.
You couldn't get the other team off the field. So you were limiting the points, you're limiting the yards. That's just because you were limiting the possessions.
Yep.
You could tell, like, oh, we got a top 5 defense. No, we don't. We can't get the other team off the field. We do not have a top 5 defense. So again, your standard metrics that you're used to seeing could actually get worse and play better play better out there. That's what I'm expecting. So, Ezeus, I don't want to say if it's an I. It's not because of the Estrella. I would say Isaias. I want to try and get that one right. Which Bronco will be the newest Pro Bowler? That one's easy. I got 2, actually. 2 should be easy. Don't you think?
Patrick Surtain will be.
And
I guess if you say Russell Wilson is on the Broncos, then he's a new one. No,
first-time Pro Bowlers.
Javonte Williams is another one I think could qualify as well. There's a lot of good running backs, which makes it tough. But I think those 2, Patrick Surtain and Javonte Williams, which, hello, 2021 draft class. Props again. You guys are killing it. But those are the 2 that stand out to me.
Yeah, that was it for me. Surtain is getting the there's an old baseball saying that says you made the All-Star game the year after you deserved it. And it's because you got to get your name out there and circulating amongst all the people. Surtain's name is now out there. It took the year. He was really good last year, despite what PFF will have you believe. Their writers are saying he was really good last year. We don't really understand what the grading was. So Surtain is getting the preseason attention that it's going to take to get him to the Pro Bowl. Javonte Williams should be, if he has a type of season we're expecting, he should be in the Pro Bowl as well. So I would think Surtain and Javonte Williams should be first-time Pro Bowlers if they stay healthy, God willing. Good question. And Mark coming in. I saw this on Facebook yesterday, Mark, and I'm glad you reminded us because I wanted to say something about it today. We absolutely get Broncos country. Keep Mark and his wife in your thoughts and prayers today. They've been having some struggles over the weekend with some back issues, and I know that just sucks. When you're anything central to you like that and you can't get comfortable, you can't rest. It's just unfortunate. So we're definitely thinking about you, Mark, and appreciate everything you do with the show. And if it's anything we can do to make y'all feel better or hopefully help in any way, we're here for you for sure.
Absolutely. Michael coming in also saying he saw Top Gun Maverick last week. Must see movie. Well, you guys are going to make me have to see it. And apparently they shot a lot of it in the North Cascades up here around Diablo Lake and Ross Lake and whatnot. So I'm here for the mountains. Heck, now I got to see it. But we'll keep it going here. Tommy's saying making the worst things better with Broncos for breakfast, listening and folding laundry. I do also enjoy listening to a podcast or 2 and folding laundry. It makes it go by a lot quicker.
I fold one piece at a time and put it away one piece at a time so I can get my steps on my Fitbit. I'll get like 4,000 steps doing laundry.
Oh man, I'm itching to get those steps in. Didn't get the backpacking trip in, so need to do on some harder hikes coming up here if the gosh darn La Nina will ever relent. Big E Bronco saying good morning all. Hope you're doing well, Big E. And also we got Dale saying interesting take, Chris, but Dr. Hackett has more positive energy than House. And then Chris also said to that one, can't wait to see what Dr. Hackett does this season. Going to be like an episode of House all season long. With Hackett's silliness, I think it's probably more a little bit like an episode of Scrubs than House. But definitely curious to see how it all works this year. And it's something that people smarter than myself, I need to pester Seth Galina enough to get him on here. But a lot of people smarter than I when it comes to offensive football scheme and philosophy say that Russell Wilson, everything always regresses to the same style of offense. Doesn't matter what the tenets are, the key principles, et cetera, et cetera. Everything goes back to what Russell Wilson does with this kind of boom or bust, feast or famine, broken play offense, which has worked him to an extent, but he's probably going to have to evolve a little bit as his as he gets older and the game changes. So curious to see how it all works. We don't know until we know, but definitely something that a lot of people who are smart are putting up kind of caution flags saying this is a concern.
This is the first time he's had an offensive coach as a head coach, and it could be as many weapons as he's ever had. So,
Yep.
I'm willing to say, and again, if it does revert back to the mean of 30 touchdowns and 7 interceptions and 4,000 plus yards, okay.
Yep.
With a running game to go with it, okay. I'm happy with that one. And I was thinking, man, House and Scrubs. I didn't watch those, but I know what they are. And I was like thinking, man, I grew up watching Married with Children. That's who I've been watching in sports franchises my whole life.
Absolutely. I watched that some growing up. But we got Ethan coming in with the support saying prayers for Mark and Mark's wife. Hope you're doing well, Mark, man. If it's not tornadoes, it's something else. So hopefully you're doing well. Scott, this one's for you.
I knew that one. Mis amigos, buenos dias, MHH in Spanish.
Okay.
Yep. Good morning, my friends. Good day, my friends, for sure. And Lawrence coming in too, saying, Mark, much love, buddy. So yeah, we're all thinking about you, Mark. You're a big part of this show and everything we do here. And hopefully y'all get through this and feel better. I know back and neck issues are just you know what they are now. Hopefully hopefully you get over them quickly and you'll realize how whenever you're sick, you realize how good it feels to feel good again. You're like, oh, man, I feel fantastic. Is this what I normally feel like? Man, I took it for granted. So hopefully you'll get that high that you come out of this by feeling your best.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some good sea mammal conversation going on in the chat here. Totally derailed. We love it, which is great. Lord Deer coming in saying good morning all. Good to see you, Lord Deer. We also got Jessica coming in saying, I think the defense will be better this year because they're playing with a purpose now. You play different when you know you can actually win games. It's been a while for a new mindset on this team. I agree with you, Jessica, and also shout out to our Mile High Huddle ladies. Thank you for joining us this morning. You're definitely right in that regard, that the Broncos defense is going to have more purpose to play for, but also they're going to be able to relax a little bit. It's not going to be completely on their back anymore as well. Like before, if the Broncos defense wasn't top 5 to finish the season, your season's done. Now, if they finish top 15, that should be fine with the offense. Obviously, you want better than that, but the onus doesn't completely fall on them with just complete laughable ineptitude on the other side of the ball, which we've come to expect here in Broncos country in the post-Peyton Manning era. So they'll play with more purpose this year, but they have a wider margin for error this season, which should help them as well.
There's going crossover sports again. When a pitcher has no offensive support and he feels like he has to throw a shutout every time, every pitch becomes a stress pitch.
Yep.
I almost see it a little bit different on this one. You've heard me use this phrase before, Nick, and most of y'all have. I said this team quit. This team quit last year. So based on just pure energy, you're going to get a new coach bump because everybody wants to be out there again. You're going to see. You should see the best of these players, and we'll find out how good they are. And that's what I'm interested in seeing is, the energy, the culture change is so much different. I can't go back 10 years with the Denver Broncos, but I can go back a year, and I can tell you it was The Walking Dead last year.
Yeah, absolutely. It was rough. Also, Chris says MASH was their last few seasons, not Scrubs, not Grey's Anatomy, blah blah blah, not House. MASH. So I enjoyed MASH. That was one of my dad's favorite shows, and he'd put that on.
I was a MASH kid. I think I grew up realizing you were supposed to just swill drinks and go through life like everything was fine. What's the problem?
Nope, that's how it is. Yeah, MASH and Bonanza. A lot of those growing up with my dad. Lawrence Rivera coming in here saying, "Sorry guys, I've been super busy getting ready for a baby."
Come on, man. That's your excuse? Yeah. Well, good. It takes a lot to get ready for, and it's awesome. I'm not sure if this is your no, I can see your picture that this isn't your first. I've always said you have the first one for you. You have the second one for the first one. They can play with each other and entertain each other. It's just so congratulations and looking forward to it. So you're absolutely going to let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll forgive
it's coming quick, as he says, Father's Day. Be here by Father's Day. That's soon. That's in a couple weeks.
Yeah. And we will give you some we'll give you a little slack, but you have to name the baby building or Broncos for breakfast Rivera. So it's only fair. It's the only way we can do it. And I had a question here from somebody. Okay, here it is. Isaiah's coming in saying, who is the dark horse sleeper on our roster? This could mean a lot of different things. Obviously, we cover this team as deep as anybody out there. So, like, how dark is our dark horse? But what do you think, Scott?
Okwuegbunam. That's the one that the national media, because again, we know these things as far as what people are capable of. But if you look at, if I'm going to take this by saying, who are the national media not talking about at all? Okwuegbunam. Going to get a tight end. Dulcich is coming in. They needed a tight end to replace Fant. They needed to replace Fant. The guy they're sleeping on is Okwuegbunam. It's his chance to come in and shine. So that would be my pick right there. Another one possibly is KJ Hamler if he's healthy.
I was going to say KJ Hamler for sure. I mean, how much Russell Wilson loves the deep ball, the explosive plays. I could see KJ Hamler being on the receiving end of a lot of highlights this season, and he could definitely be a dark horse sleeper on the roster. Defensive side of the ball, this one might seem a little bit crazy, but is Bradley Chubb kind of a dark horse right now? He has the 5th overall pick and everything, but and he's been a Pro Bowler once or twice, but given the conversation surrounding him in Broncos country, just kind of he was kept off the top 25 edge rusher list on Pro Football Focus. There's Bradley Chubb has a lot of talent, and if he can be healthy this season, especially we talked about it earlier, the offense being a little bit better, the defense being able to be a little bit more aggressive and dictate action, I could see Bradley Chubb being somewhat of a dark horse overall. So
the $100 million incentive,
yeah, that might help. Maybe.
That might matter too. And Mark, hey, we love you. So the support on here is wonderful. It's a great community to be a part of, and I'm glad I'm here with you, and I'm glad you're here with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And there's some Chicago Cubs talk going on in the chat right now, which I do not appreciate. That's gross. That'd be like that's like Raiders talking here to me. So no, I remember the Cubs.
See, for me, it's Braves. We've got Smoltz, Maddox. That's Braves.
Yeah. I remember the Mark Pryor, Zambrano, Kerry Wood peak where the Cubs, this is our year. And then they crash and burn, which I always appreciated because I absolutely hated the Cubs. Still do hate the Cubs. Honestly, I might hate the Cubs more than the Raiders just because I knew a lot of annoying Cub fans.
It's
proximity.
Proximity. Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Peter coming in saying Moody had very positive statements about him this week from the Broncos. Still concerned?
Yes.
I mean, we haven't seen anything to not be concerned. Talk is cheap. It's that time of year where people are going to gas up their guys on their roster. So we'll believe when we see it. I'm pulling for Moody just like I'm pulling for all the guys on the Broncos roster. But as far as concerned, I mean, they could be talking him up just to trade him here in a few weeks. So we'll see.
Yeah, they very rarely came up, man, we can't count on this guy at all. He stinks. What's he even doing here? You're not going to learn anything from – you very rarely learn anything from what coaches and personnel people say publicly. It's almost always positive. Always positive. Watch what they do, not what they say. When they come out with the ones and Mooty's in there, raise your eyebrows. Yep. When he's, going out with the third team, go, yeah, it was all a bunch of coach speak. Again, I've said it a zillion times. Coaches, general managers, I always said it coaches. Coaches lie so much, they don't call it lying. They call it coach speak. It's just part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, gassing up your guy all the time.
No, it doesn't do you any good to talk him down. You might get a motivator. Every once in a while, they'll throw a motivator out there. Yeah. Hey, we need to see more from this guy. He needs to stay healthy. Every once in a while, they'll throw something out there to kick him in the butt. But most of the time, it's always, oh, yeah, we love him. He's really doing good. Then he doesn't play or he's traded or released within a week. So, yeah, I'm concerned until I see otherwise.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we'll see how it all comes together. But definitely a question there. Tommy says Cubs are my NL team. Well,
mute.
Sorry, Tommy. We got to kick you from the chat now. No, we also had, where was it? Big E saying the most dark horse guy on this roster. Ethan, cover your ears. He says that I think the outlaw Josie Jewell can be a dark horse. Josie is not, I don't think Josie is going to ever be like a splash player, but he's a steady Eddie out there for you when you need him dependable. I mean, that's what you want from your linebacker more than anything. It's kind of like, I think about the linebacker spot in today's game, more of like your leadoff hitter. You know, you want him to consistently draw walks, get on base, work the count. And if he can do that for you, he sets the table nicely. And I think that can be very similar to Josie Jewell this year. You know, apparently Justin Simmons wore the green dot in OTA. So maybe they're going to switch things up here.
Makes
But
sense.
typically, yeah, most of the time you don't
on the
see
field a lot more.
Yeah, 100% last year. It's just a lot of times they have a hard time getting the calls down to the defensive line if there are any shifts or anything. So the linebacker will typically wear the green dot just because it's easy for them to holler back or holler forward, you know, kind of move guys around. But if Simmons and Jewell are in sync or whoever, then no issue there. But definitely could be, definitely could see Josie Jewell being good there. And also, yeah, Ethan saying, yes, we need a special teams dark horse. Good choice. The thing about Josie is I don't even know if he is like an incredible special teams guy because he's not a height, weight, speed freak. You know, it's his skills are actually better on defense rather than, you know, a lot of times the guys who can't play on defense or offense that are just absolute, you know, don't have to think or process as much, just go out there and be an athlete. Those guys work on special teams, and that's not really as much Josie. I think Josie is better on defense than special teams.
And you know, 5-year, 4-year veterans aren't typically on that are supposed to be starters aren't typically on special teams. But we know Ethan was just joking. Dave coming in. Welcome, Dave. Said, who was the ex-Bronco who predicted last place? Was KJ Wright?
He's not a Bronco.
Bronco. He was an ex
Seahawk and Raider.
Seahawk. Okay. I listened to it last night, and it was titled wrong initially with Bobby Wagner, and then I was like, wait, it's KJ Wright. Now, who did he play for? I was all confused. So, and again, you could finish fourth and make the playoffs, you know, so it's one of those things. But for me, I felt like he had a better chance being right if you inverted it, because I think he had the Chiefs in third, the Broncos in fourth. I think he went Chargers, Raider, or I think he went Raiders, Chargers. Either way,
yeah.
It was KJ Wright. We did if you want to catch up on that, it was at the beginning of the Huddle Up Pod yesterday when they were talking about that on the same channel.
Yeah. Yeah, the KJ Wright, I mean, he's just gassing up the Raiders. Former Raider player. Is what it is. So no, I don't put too much stock in it. And Brad D coming and saying Jewel speed, is he rocking the high tops this year? I don't know about that, but he will be fine on defense this year for what they need. Let's keep it going here. I want to get to just touch on the AFC West guys before we get on out of here. So we had this Pro Football Focus power rankings from Sam Monson over on PFF. He has the number one team in the NFL being the Buffalo Bills. I don't disagree with him one bit. I think the Bills should be the favorite. They have the easiest walk. I think the AFC East is the worst division right now in the probably actually honestly the worst division. Maybe the AFC South is though. Probably the AFC South, but the Bills are head and shoulders above everybody in the AFC East. Defense is great. Offense is great. I think I got no issue with them being number one. Tampa Bay, number two. If you think the AFC East is bad, just look at the NFC South. Sorry, Scott. Rams, number three, being the Super Bowl champions right now, reigning Super Bowl champions. Putting them at three is maybe the verse line is defending Super Bowl champions are already being disrespected. We'll see. I think three is pretty good. You kind of tier these guys. Four being the Chiefs, and what they say about the Chiefs. With the rest of the NFL's contenders in an arms race, the Chiefs chose to trade away one of the most potent weapons in the NFL in Tyreek Hill. They look to replace him not with any one player, but the aggregate of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Sky Moore. And while that may be the best thing for them long-term for the roster, it's tough to argue the Chiefs won't take a small step backwards this year. Nonetheless, as long as Patrick Mahomes is quarterback, Chiefs will be amongst the real contenders in the AFC. Yeah, no doubt. I agree with that 100%. And it's kind of funny. Have you seen so much? Maybe it's because I'm in Broncos Twitter even more so than you, Scott, or Twitter more than you, but Chiefs fans right now talking themselves into actually this roster is better this year. We're going to be better. Losing Tyreek Hill was a good thing because of the guys we got around them, and our offense will be even better and more explosive this season.
I'm not going to knock any team that decides not to pay a wide receiver $25 million.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money for a dependent position like wide receiver. So I was just looking at the top five, Nick, and I'll get back to your question. The top five, do any one of them have a $20 million wide receiver? You know, you're talking Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, LA Rams, Kansas City Chiefs, and Chargers. Are they pouring those kind of resources into the wide receiver position, or is they more of a collective with a good quarterback? So I'm not going to knock a team like that. And it might be a small step back, but I think it's better for the long run. You know, when you've got a contending team, you don't want to blow up your pay scale like that because everybody starts looking around. Where do I get mine? How do I get mine? And they got a good return for that. Did they get better? They had a good draft, I'll tell you that much. But no, not in the short term. They probably didn't get better right away because Tyreek Hill is a really good player and a good weapon. But they're still contenders for sure.
Yeah.
They're absolutely still Super Bowl contenders with the roster that they have. And by the end of the year, those rookies won't be rookies anymore. They'll have 20 games under their belts with preseason or everything. So that's 2 college football seasons.
Yep.
So they won't be rookies anymore. So the Chiefs will be a force to be dealt with. A step back for them is 11-6 and Super Bowl contenders.
Yep. 100%. I do think, though, it's kind of funny, Kansas City fans, the coping, saying, oh, this wide receiver core is going to be even better this season, where
everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. Despite all of the indications otherwise, Falcons fans are talking themselves into 10 wins down here, despite the fact that they're 30th in every single power rankings. And a third of their money is going to players isn't on the field. They've got like $125 million on the field, Nick.
Yeah.
On a $225 salary cap, they've got like $125 million on the field. That's insane. Yeah. Everybody does it. Everybody justifies why. There's initial outrage and then the coping, the 5 stages of grief. Oh yeah, this is going to be okay. Yeah. And then they're shocked. They're shocked when, hey, we actually did take a step back. All those morons who said we would were right, but they're still morons because they were doubting us anyway. So,
I mean, we've seen it here in Denver recently with the quarterback stuff and the offense stuff and everything like that. So I get it, but also now we can be on the other end being like, come on, guys. So the Chiefs number 4 overall, I think their defense will be fine. I don't really trust their overall pass rush depth. I don't really like their depth in the secondary. I think their safeties are good. Cornerbacks still questionable to me, but I digress. Chiefs at number 4, I got no issue with it. Like they said, as long as Mahomes is there and Andy Reid, he deserves a shout out too. They're going to be contenders. Los Angeles Chargers at number 5, saying few teams were as aggressive this offseason as the Chargers, who seem determined to capitalize on the talent they have on the rookie cost-controlled quarterback Justin Herbert. Far from regressing, Herbert's second season built on his stellar rookie campaign, so the Chargers spent a ton of money to surround him with talent. Adding players such as Khalil Mack should improve everything up front. J.C. Jackson adds to the secondary, and that has a lot of ball skills as a unit, and drafting Zion Johnson should ensure that the line in front of Herbert remains solid. So I've been on high as anyone as the Chargers, at least in this sphere. I not as high as Peter King, who had them number 1 or number 2 in the entire NFL, but I digress. I think 5 overall is a little high. Probably would have put them behind the Packers still, because you talk about Aaron. If you're giving Patrick Mahomes a lot of credit, let's give Aaron Rodgers a lot of credit on the back-to-back MVP season, especially considering the NFC North is far worse than the AFC South or AFC West.
The Chiefs were better than the Packers last year, and the Packers got worse. I don't see the Packers improving. I can see them dropping down to an 8-9, 7-10 type of year. Honestly, I couldn't.
Man, we should put. I know we're not really money guys on this betting wise, but we should bet on it because I think the Packers they lost Devontae Adams, but their offensive line was completely injured last season, and also Jair Alexander missed like the last half of the season as well. So you get Jair Alexander back, you get Elton Jenkins back, you get David Bakhtiari back. I think that will help overcome the loss of Devontae Adams, who's going to hurt. But I think the Packers defense is a top 5 unit in football.
So we got Christian Watson as rookie of the year then?
Possible. I think Romeo Doubs is going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see how they use the running backs in the offense this season.
But I appreciate the stars, my friend. That feels like a newer name. Appreciate you jumping in.
I recognize Lewis. Thank you so much, Lewis Condon. We appreciate you a lot. So yeah, we'll see about the Chargers here. Go be number 5 overall. I don't have an issue with it. I hope you guys in the comments section that always say, "Oh, Nick, you're overrating them. The Chargers are going to charger." I hope you're right. But on paper, it's a damn good roster and a team that has less question marks than even the Broncos do this season. And finally coming in the rear here, about where they should be, in my opinion, the Las Vegas Raiders, 16th overall, saying the rest of the AFC West became loaded with contenders this offseason. So after hiring a new general manager and head coach, the Raiders took a beat and decided to join the party, trading for Devontae Adams and adding Chandler Jones. Adams teams up with Derek Carr, his old college quarterback, to give this offense the number 1 target it needs, and Jones should add formidable pass rush opposite Max Crosby. The offensive line remains a major area of concern for the Raiders, as is the brutal division they play in. Didn't even touch on how bad the Raiders' back 7 is, which you guys have heard me say here on 100 times. But yeah, Raiders' offensive line outside of Colton Miller is very bad. I know that they have a lot of weapons and whatnot, and Derek Carr is a good, smart quarterback as far as processing, getting rid of the ball quickly, which can help a lot. But the offensive line is bad. I think it's going to hurt their ability to run play action. It's going to hurt their ability to run the football. And late in games, when they have to be a little bit more aggressive with the pass game, not going to be as good. So I think 16 overall, this is the best. I've seen people talk about the Raiders for a bit. Maybe my height on the Chargers this season is balanced out by how low I am on the Raiders, and those will both kind of regress closer to the mean. But we'll see. I don't think the Raiders are that good.
What about the run defense? That's the big question. You talk about the back seven. I think that includes linebackers, linebackers. But did they shore up the rushing defense up the middle? Again, if you can't run or stop the run, it becomes hard to be a good team because 3rd and 3 becomes first downs, both sides of the ball. So what have they done to get better against the run?
Yep. The Chargers they added 3 players this year that should help them against the run pretty substantially. Khalil Mack is one of the best edge rushers in football. One of the best run defense edge rushers in football has been since he came into the league. That should help them a lot. They spent big money on Sebastian Joseph Day, who the Broncos tried to sign before Sebastian Joseph Day decided he would rather go to the Chargers and work under Brandon Staley. So the Broncos pivoted and got DJ Jones. But my understanding is they first tried to get Sebastian Joseph Day, who offers a little bit more flexibility. And he is one of the better run defenders in football. And they also signed Austin Johnson, who's a pretty good nose tackle from Penn State, played in Tennessee for a little bit. So yes, I think the Chargers defense, and they don't even have to be an elite run defense, but they won't be bottom 3 like they were last season. So that'll help them a heck of a lot on the defensive side of the ball. Can Derwin James, can Joey Bosa stay healthy? That's probably the biggest question marks for that defense, because those two have proven that they suffer injuries, about every other year. But we'll see. It's on paper, again, good roster, and they really did substantially upgrade that defense. And that's one of the big benefits of a rookie cost-controlled quarterback that is as good as quickly as Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I'm looking at I wasn't a big fan of Zion Johnson. I thought that was a reach at 17. We've talked about that. JT Woods going up to 3rd pick. That's not a help. Otito Ogbonnia is a guy I really liked in the 5th. So I think that could be their Uzurike type of pick. The high ceiling later round big man in the middle that could really help them. So for me, as high as you are on a Uzurike, I would put similar type of expectations on Ogbonnia playing there with the Chargers.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chad's Shiny Marble coming in saying the Marble has trust in Russ. In Russ and Peyton we trust. Thank you, Chad's Shiny Marble. Make sure you
shine that marble. That's if the marble, once the marble is spoken, it might be time to get out of here.
Yep, it is time to wrap up, guys. Also wanted to say hello real quick. He said, there we go. Kaylon Green. Yo to you, Kaylin. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, yo.
Now we can go. But we appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you're following Scott and I on Twitter. Scott is at Scout Kennedy. I am at Nick Kendell MHH. Also, make sure you're following us at Huddle Up Pod, as well as at Mile High Huddle. Also at BFB_pod for Broncos for Breakfast channel there. If you haven't done so yet, go to huddleuppod.com to check out our gear. If you have a shiny marble like Chad's Shiny Marble does, maybe check out the hats there. Protect the dome. That's a lot of sun exposure there, and summer's coming. So hats are very good. They're also like the breathable trucker kinds, which if you're like me, get heated easily. Having the mesh is really nice. So check out huddleuppod.com. Check out the gear there. If you haven't done so yet, join our Facebook communities at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod, as well as facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. And as the ticker says on the bottom, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, like, and share. That's over on Facebook and YouTube. We got way more eyeballs in here than we do likes right now. So on the way out, please smash that like button and subscribe, like, and share over on YouTube. We will see you guys in a little bit. I guess I'll be back tonight for building the Broncos. And tomorrow we'll be over on Scott's channel for Forging the Falcons. But then Wednesday night will be our first Mile High Insiders on Wednesday for June 1st. So busy couple days here for myself, but that's okay. It's not like I have sleep anyways.
Yeah, your new home for Mile High Insiders Wednesday nights. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chris saying we need a Braves show, Scott. There you go. We can talk a little Braves tomorrow, I'm sure. But we'll get on out of here. You guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you have a nice, easy Tuesday, relaxing you off from that 3-day weekend. We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys later. Choose kindness, choose compassion. Go Broncos.